All right, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Video Game Federation Strat Corner podcast. My lovely co-host is out yet again. I know some people are crying foul, but you know he's still in the same situation he was before, not living at the same place he was. But we still got special guests, so it should be fun. And this episode we're doing Lili. And we have special guests from all the way from Cali, our second Cali person on the podcast, Kane. What's up, man?
What's up, man?
Nothing much. So I do actually want to ask real quick, is Lili your main? I think I thought I heard that you actually have another main character, but she's like a backup.
No.
Oh, for some reason I was thinking like you had you played another character, and then Lili was like you have two mains, you know?
Well, I was playing Brian, but then I'm kind of stepping away from that now.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of, because I can't even remember what the other character was. So. Well, usually what I start for those who somehow don't know you, I don't know how, because you're pretty prominent personality out there on the TZ boards. But give us a little bit of a background. Like, when did you start playing? Did you Lili's a relatively new character, so who'd you start with? What games you come in on?
Well, I basically started playing a lot in when Tekken Tag 1 first came out, so back in around '99. I messed around with Kings, and then I got my ass beat by this Mishima player when I was in Virginia. So kind of back then I was I was like, oh wow, Mishimas are pretty strong. Let me see what they're all about. But that was actually even before like all the Korean hype came up, with Tekken Tag Mishimas. So I basically stuck with Mishimas, all the way till Tekken 6.0.
Nice. So which once they started to go to the 1v1 stuff, which Mishima did you use?
Devil Jin or Jin, whichever you want to call it.
Okay, so once the T5 hit, you did the Jin or the DJ thing, and then
yeah, Devil Jin.
Gotcha. Very nice, very nice. So what drove you to Lili? What made you want to start playing Lili?
Well, it's a pretty simple and yet dumb answer. Tekken 6.0 came out, and I couldn't use Mishimas on Japanese sticks. I played several hundred games, and I couldn't play Mishimas the way I wanted to. So I went for a character with easier execution, and I messed around with Lili a lot in DR. So I kind of just went with her.
That's one thing that I should probably take into consideration at some point is that I would say I'm like a mediocre juggler, Like I can sometimes hit the really hard combos, but for the most part I'm just going to stick with really easy bread and butter combos. So I don't know why I played Mishimas at all. I just need to put them down and fucking go away. Just go to a really, really simple character. But I guess that's part of the fun of the game. I guess just keep playing and failing. But
I guess it's not even the juggles that threw me off. It's just spacing and doing wave dashes. Juggles I can do. Hard juggles I can do with Mishimas even on Japanese stick. But it's just the other stuff.
Yeah. The hardest thing for me to get down, like most people will tell you that the while standing cancel shit is like really tough, and it is. I mean, it takes some timing to get it down. But the hardest thing for me, I don't know why, was always doing multiple crouch dashes into an electric. Like that was always like really hard for me, and I don't know why, but like I would always fuck up, and like you start doing the same thing over and over again, and then your brain just gets distracted, gets bored, and you start doing other shit. It's weird.
Yep, I agree. But it's kind of like a rhythm, you know.
You just got to get into that zone.
Yep.
Well, cool. I'm actually really excited for this podcast. I'm hoping that I'll learn something because I did play Lili in DR. And then I have played her a little bit in 6.0, but she's definitely not a character that I've sat down with and like done, looked over every single thing that she can do. So I'm hoping you can enlighten me on a little bit. Usually what we start out with, especially when I have guests on, I kind of throw out a general question for you. What do you think her strengths are, and what are her weaknesses? Like whether you're playing her or playing against her, like what sort of things should you be doing or watching out for? Just like in general, then we can kind of just go off that.
Well, her if there are walls around, then her juggle damage is pretty strong. She has very good crush abilities. Most of it's like launch punishable. So it's like if you're good at reading your opponent, knowing when to take a risk, then she can be very good.
Yeah, I have noticed she is definitely not lacking in the juggle department, even without walls, because I think she normally gets 70s, 80s, depending on the launcher, especially with down forward 2. I think that is so silly. Safe launchers are the dumbest, especially safe mid launchers. Like, something about that just pisses me off.
Well, Lili definitely doesn't have a safe down forward 2.
I thought that was safe. I thought it was like only -9 or something like that.
No, in DR it was safe. It was -7. In 6.0 it was -10. If you went to back turn, it was -7. So it was semi-safe. And then in BR it's just -11 no matter what.
I see. And it shows you how often I play against the Lili. I still think that's safe. But I guess there you go. I already learned something. We're like 10 seconds into the podcast, and I already learned something. That's and I think they slowed it down too, right? Because I think it used to be 15, but it's definitely not anymore.
No, it was always 16.
Was it always? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I just remember it being safe, and that clouded my mind for all things. Well, I know that she's really good in the punishing department. I'm trying to think of like all of her punches because her jabs are pretty standard. But 2-4, she kind of inherited Jin's 2-4. In my head, it's sort of along the same range. And then I think she has 1 + 2 is 12, right? And then what does she have at 14?
Well, she's actually pretty terrible in the punishing department.
Really?
Yeah.
On paper. Man, really?
Yeah. On paper, she has all the necessary punishers, but they don't have any range.
Mm.
Like, for example, 2-4, 32 damage, you think, oh, that's a good 10-frame punisher, but...
I think it wall spreads too, right?
Yeah, but actually it has no range. Like, if Lei hot kicks at point blank, I can't punish him with 2-4, just because it won't reach. Lei, Miguel, there's a lot of stuff that she can't punish with 2-4. I mean, she still has 1-2, but, same with 1 + 2, doesn't have all that much range. Let's see. I believe it's Brian's 1 + 2-2 at certain ranges that'll 1 + 2 will miss. It's Brian's soccer kick, long range 1 + 2 will miss. Jack's down for 2, 1 + 2 will miss. So the get up mids, it'll miss. So it really doesn't have that much range. As far as 14-frame punishers, she either has for Tekken 6, she only has 4 or 2, which is 13 frames, and -1 on a hit, which is pretty dumb. And then she has forward 1 + 2, which is 20 damage, +3 on hit. It's really not all that great.
And the the forward 2, I know that has the 3 option after. That's a natural combo, right?
It's a natural combo in Tekken Tag 2, which I am very happy about, but in Tekken 6 it is not.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, at least we know she's getting a little, well, hopefully if it sticks, she'll be getting a little bit of a beef in Tag 2.
Yeah.
That's weird that it's not a natural combo in T6. It just looks like something that would be a natural combo.
Doesn't you happen to hit the second hit, she gets like a little mini juggle. So, I mean, in Tekken 6, if it did knock down the same way, then it would be a really, really, really strong, 13-frame punisher.
Well, how does it work in Tag 2? Is it a different sort of knockdown, or?
Yeah, it's basically the same knockdown as Devil Jin's back 4, his soccer kick. So that's what the second hit does. But, I mean, they beefed up the damage, and it is NC, so...
Nice. Is it still 13?
Yeah, it's still 13, and it's only -10, and it's still -10 in Tag 2, which is pretty cool.
yeah, that's I would say that's a hell of beef right there for that. And then I know she has hop kick at 15. But actually, before we kind of finish off the punishers, I suppose we probably should talk about the spacing thing because that's pretty important. Because we mentioned at least when Dan, who's my usual co-host on the show, whenever we bring up the topic of Lili, which we've only done a couple times, but in my mind, I think she has a lot of juice and a lot of really good setups and like all these frame traps and back turn juice and whatnot. But her biggest problem in my head is the spacing issue. Like her long range stuff is kind of bleh. And then I've always considered her the worst tracking character in the game because like all of her tracking stuff is like range 1 or shorter or whatever. And I think they gave her a couple new things for T6 to kind of help with the tracking issue. But like what 443, right? I think that's the spinning one.
My 443 is a jump kick launcher.
Which one is it? 444 is the low stomp.
Yeah.
And then, God, there's a spin kick. Maybe it's just forward 3? Maybe I'm thinking. What?
Oh yeah, that's that's her homing move.
Yeah. But that thing, oh my God, has the shittiest range ever.
Yeah, I know.
Like in order to even like for that to even be applicable, you have to do a running 3, and God knows you'll actually get a running 3. So.
Well, I mean, her running 3 is, she jumps and falls on the floor.
Yeah,
so
ass.
can't really do that.
But I mean, it'll be. I really want to know your opinion on that though, because like that was always her big thing. Like I felt like she always had like plenty of tools, but she had no way of like finding the opponent. Like whenever I watch Lili's play, or the very few times that I've been able to play Lili or play as Lili, the short period of time where I was messing with her, it always looked like in order for her to like really compete, she always has to be sidestepping and backdashing and just wait for a moment where an opponent sidestep really wouldn't do anything. Like kind of get that weird angle so that her moves will track better and just kind of wait for that opportunity. But I don't know. How do you approach that? I mean, do you think she has that spacing tracking issue, or how do you see it?
So in Tekken 5 DR, she was in my opinion definitely the worst tracker. But in Tekken 6, that's not the case. I mean, she has moves that track at least one way. She has a handful of moves for her left, handful of moves for her right. There's no easy option like Lars down back 2-1, which will track both ways, unfortunately. But I mean, that's I don't think she's the worst tracker. I think Josephina has worse tracking than her, but
yeah, she's goofy though. But I know with Lili, it seems like everybody and their mother is getting a down back 3 or a down 3 or something like that, and that little sweeping low poke that it may not be safe, but it's relatively safe for what you get on it. And I mean, I know she has that. I think that tracks to her left.
Her slow down back 4?
No, the down 3. Just the little toe kick sweep thing. Just a little.
That tracks almost 100% to her left, and it tracks a little bit to her right as well.
Because I know that's one of the reasons that makes like Law and Nina really, really solid in the low poking department, because Law has the down back 3. I think Nina, her notation for it is also down back 3. But they're both just really stupid lows that put them in really good positions. And I know she has it too, or a version.
Yeah, but the reason they're dumb is because Nina's is +6 and puts you in crouch. Law's is +4. And Lili's is only +1.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I know it's not quite as crippling, but Dan likes to throw it out whenever we talk about it. Like a tracking low is almost all you need. I don't completely agree with that, but I mean it really helps if you're trying to prevent people from sidestepping and doing all this goofy evasive stuff. So
yeah, it's all right. It's not. I mean, it's pretty slow. It's only +1. Nothing on counter hits, so it's.
So what sort of stuff did they give her then to fix the sidestep problem? Because I mean I don't know. I guess I haven't really seen a whole lot that she has that like fixes that issue. But they
didn't really give her much per se, but like they have stuff. She has stuff that that tracks. For example, as we mentioned, down 3 tracks almost 100% to her left. Down forward 4, which is like a knee, tracks almost 100% to her right.
Oh, and it has the follow-up too, right? The low.
Yeah, but it's launch punch.
Yeah.
But
is that's not natural combo, right? I know it's NCC, but it's not just on regular hit, right?
Yeah, it is NCC, but you can see it. There's a longer stun when they do get counter hit. While standing 2, tracks pretty well to her right. Quarter circle forward 3+4, which is like a spinning double hit high. Tracks pretty well to her right. I mean, she has stuff that tracks, hop kick tracks to her left, but nothing other than her homing move that really tracks both ways.
Does she have any long range tracking options? Because that was always like my big issue. Because like for Steve, Steve is a powerhouse. Most people just acknowledge that he's a straight up powerhouse. And if you're close range with him, like just because of the way he controls frames, it's rough. But like you can kind of start to mess with him in the spacing issue, like once you get beyond range 2. But he has like those tools like a forward 4-2 that you really have to watch out for at that range. And does Lili have anything like that?
Not really. Maybe quarter circle forward 1-2, but it's everything she has punishable. Actually, her down 3 has a lot of range. That it might not look like it has a lot of range, but it really does. Like it'll reach Paul when he's doing a death fist, up on block.
Whoa, that is a lot of range.
Yeah, just to give you an idea of like, even though it has a lot of pushback, it'll reach Paul. It is one of her longest range moves. Even though it doesn't really look like it.
Well, I guess, she kind of does a little hop step forward before she actually whips her leg out there.
Yep.
Nice. Okay, so it sounds like you're like 50-50 on it. Like she kind of has an issue with it, but, obviously it's not as flagrant as it was in DR. So, So you mentioned the punishing where you really didn't think that she's the greatest punisher, which from the sounds of it, you're right. I didn't realize all that stuff whiffed. But like, so what sorts of things like I don't want to say make her shitty, but like what sorts of like weaknesses does she have outside of the punishing?
I think a really big weakness she has in Tekken 6 is that she lacks a good, long-range or semi-long-range whiff punisher. Now, I'm not really talking about, like the flip, because that's pretty slow.
Oh, like
I'm talking about like, if someone
like a shoulder.
if someone's just out of range for like a down 4-2 and you need to punish something with it, like her hop kick is good, but it's not going to reach. So, I mean, her longest range options that are strong are either like forward 4, which like a straight mid kick. It doesn't have that much range and it is -14. And then she has her quarter circle forward 1-2, which is good, but I mean, it comes out at 15 plus execution plus you got to see the whiff. It's kind of
that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
But, well, I mean, I guess if you do hit it, I do notice a lot of Lili players out there that just kind of do the quarter circle forward motion, like maybe a little side step, maybe a little bit of a backdash, and then quarter circle forward and try to hunt for the 1. And then it's hit confirmable, right?
It's actually not.
Oh, it's not?
At least I don't believe it is.
Because I know you can delay the 2.
Yeah, if you delay like more than a few frames, it's not NC anymore, even on counter hit. What you can do is you can see them like try and throw something out, and then you can kind of guess if you want to do the second hit or not. But I personally don't believe it's hit confirmable.
Man, that's lame. Because I always thought that move was hit confirmable, which kind of made it good. But I mean, I guess it's still good, but if because you can play mix-up games with it. But man.
If it is, I can't do it. So,
well, I know you're a pretty good player, so I'm just gonna take it as no. You can't take it from it. But okay, well let's kind of switch tracks a little bit and go to like her good stuff, because I know she has some good frame traps. Her Oki with all the back turn crap is just ridiculous. I think all of her grabs leave her in really good Oki, if I'm not mistaken. So her grab game is excellent. Does she have anything more than just the 3 grabs? Because I know she has left grab, right grab, and then the down forward 12. Does she have any other grabs?
Nope, that is
just that.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just kind of the standard stuff. Although I will say, personally, I am a huge fan of one direction input 12 breaks rather than like forward or whatever. Unless of course, you can buffer it, but kind of rough for something else. Like Brian, I don't really like the forward 12 that he has out of that. Is the Chains of Misery. It's cool, but I don't really like it. But I much prefer just the straight like down forward 12 or forward 12 or whatever. But.
Yeah, it's all right. I wish he had more grabs though.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I've mostly always played grab heavy characters, like even characters that aren't typically considered grab characters, like Law. He has just a plethora of grabs, which is one of the reasons that makes him so stupid, especially run up grab. But which one?
Yeah, pretty much everybody in the game has more than 3 grabs, and Lili doesn't.
She's stuck. Yeah, she's stuck in the back. Well, hopefully. Did she get any more grabs that you know of in Tag 2? Or is it
no. No.
Well, there you go. Something to write Namco for. Well, okay, so her grab game, even though she's only at the 3, I mean, it's still pretty good. Her Oki stuff. So you know more about this than I do, obviously. But like, what kinds of things does she have for Oki? Because I know she has a couple of pickup options, but I know a lot of Lili players like to do back turn stuff. So like, what's better, and what do you prefer? What like that?
Oh man, I could go on forever.
Yeah, go for it, dude. People love when you just rant or ramble like a friggin' robot. People love that shit. So any information you have, people will just soak it up.
Well, I guess I'll start with post-bound enders because that's probably the most common. There's 3 major post-bound enders that she has. Is 3T3, which is her strongest, but it is for wall carry. There is no Oki after because they get sent far away. There is down forward 3+4 3+4, which is basically her backflip into the she ends up in back turned.
Yeah.
And then she has 4-4-3 3+4. So the Oki off of down forward 3+4 3+4 is all right. There really are no safe options. She has she's back turned. She could do a few things. She could do back turn 1+2 if you try and anticipate her doing a low when she's in back turn. So the back turn low. Which one is the 2-hit string? It's like down. Was it down 3-4? Is that right? Yeah.
Is that's not a natural combo, right? Or is it?
No.
Oh, okay. It's just okay. Because for some reason I was thinking that was a natural combo, and I was like, oh, busted. But I guess.
See, that's a dumb move because the back turn down 3 is -20, and back turn down 3-4 is -13. So really, unless you get a counter hit, you're kind of stuck. You're pretty much dead.
I noticed most people doing the sweep, which I think is down 3+4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that doesn't lead to a juggle or anything, right? That's just
from a far distance, you can get a juggle off it.
Oh wow.
Actually, you could she can hold forward to stay in forward, her regular forward stance, and then you can do down 1-2 into back turn, then back turn 1-2, and then bound.
Oh wow.
But that's far range.
Situational. Oh, gotcha. Okay, cool. Well, anyway, sorry, didn't mean to sidetrack you. Okay, so so back to post-bound ender. Okay, so you're back.
All right, so there's back turn 1+2. If you try and duck because you think a low is coming, then you'll eat a juggle, basically. Back turn 1+2 will also spike back rollers, and in tag 2 it'll bound back rollers. So there's also, obviously back turn down 3-4, which, will pretty much, you can't avoid it unless you get up and duck. Same thing with back turn down 3+4, the sweep. You can't avoid it unless you get up and duck. There's also, if you decide to stay on the floor, there's also back turn 3+4. She'll jump on you. She'll do like a backwards jump and then land on you. And it's pretty good damage. It's pretty safe. It's only like minus 10 or something like that.
Does that like push away, or are you like in the same situation?
It pushes away a little bit, but the thing is like she's still in back turn, so depending on what you do, she could still do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not at advantage. That's the whole point.
Gotcha.
So I guess if you like guessing, then down 4 3+4 3+4 is the way to go, because it is pretty strong as a post-bound ender. But I prefer to use 4-4-3 3+4, mainly because you have more options. You're facing forward. It is a spike ender, so you're left right in front of the opponent. So you can either choose to you pretty much can do anything. You could do another down 4 3+4. It catches back rollers for a juggle, or it hits grounded if you just sit there. She can always do down 3, which will always hit. The only way to avoid it is to get up ducking.
Which can be really dangerous.
Yeah, she can sweep for a little bit stronger. I believe the only way to avoid it is also to get up ducking. You might be able to back roll that. She can do 3-2, and if you back roll, that'll pick you up for a small juggle, or the 3 will hit side rollers if you try and roll to the side. You can do down 4, like generic down 4. This is mainly why I prefer the 4-4-3 3+4, because of down 4. The down 4 will pick you up even if you try and get up and duck, because you can't get up fast enough. So and then that puts you in an Oki game as well, because you got to choose. Oh well, I got a tech roll or I got a back roll, and you're stuck in another mix-up.
Oh, so that it pops up a little bit, but it doesn't pop up enough for a mini juggle.
Yeah. So I mean, down 4 will also hit side rollers.
Oh, nice.
The only way to avoid it is to just sit there.
Oh man, Dan, I'm so sad Dan couldn't make this, because we love our generic down 4s. We love those. So any sort of setup that involves that, it gets our vote. Vote for president, down 4. But because generic toe kick is just too strong. It always has been. But
yeah.
So okay, so do you usually just do the down 4 option most of the time after, or do you like to mix it up a bunch? Or?
Most of the time I'll either go for a down 4 3+4 or a down 3. If you hit a down 3 and they are back rolling, you get a free down 4 as like a mini juggle.
Nice.
And then again, they're stuck in a mix-up situation.
So what? Okay, so let's say that they're trying to pick an option, tech roll, back roll, or just lay there, stand up, or whatever. So what sorts of things do you usually do for pressure? Do you just like run up down 4-3, or?
Well, okay, let's say I hit a down 4 on the post bound. I pick you up with the down 4. So you're in the air, and you can either tech roll or back roll or stay on the floor. So if you do a 4-4-4, the stomp, it'll track either way of which you tech roll, or it'll hit you if you just sit there. So the only way to avoid that is to back roll.
I do love that stuff.
Or tech roll and duck, I guess.
Yeah.
Or you can you can eat a down 4 3+4 if you try and back roll. So I mean, her Oki is really good if you decide to go for it.
Nice. Okay, so that's usually the thing to do then, is it sounds like doing the, God, you just said the input for it too, and I can't remember. 4-4-4-3 or 4-4-3 3+4. Is that right?
Yeah, the post-bound ender.
Yeah. So that seems to be pretty standard, and it sounds like it does pretty good damage too.
It actually does less than down 4 3+4 3+4, but I think it's only like 2 or 3 damage less.
Yeah, I'd take Oki over that any day.
in Tekken Tag 2, it's the same actually, I believe, because they buffed that move up in damage.
Wow, so there's just no reason not to do it.
Yeah, I prefer that move anyway. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anytime you can get Oki, most players will, or at least most good players will abandon damage unless they absolutely need it for Oki. So, yeah, anytime you can do that. And then apparently Namco loves you because they're giving you a beef to that move, so they want you to do that. Nice. So, trying to think of what the next thing. So you mentioned like her safety a little bit. So I take it you're not a fan of how safe she is?
No, definitely not a fan. Unlike whatever 80% of the cast, she does not have a safe down 4-2. She does not have a magic 4. Her standing 4 is the start of her 10 string, which just means that she'll never have a magic 4 combo.
Yeah, unless they give her like a generic, like Steve Pack 1 or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's she's even less safe in Tag 2, so that's
Whoa, how's she less safe? Did they like tone down some moves?
Yeah. Like her 4-4-3 is a jump kick launch safe jump kick launcher in Tekken 6. In Tekken Tag 2 it doesn't even knock down.
Oh wow.
So it's not a launcher, it doesn't knock down. And in Tekken Tag 2 they made it punchable anyway. So it's like
everything good about that move is gone.
Yeah, pretty much. And her down 4 3+4 flip, it is you can actually jab afterwards, and she can't block it.
Oh, wow.
She'll turn around fast enough, but she won't be able to block it. She can still duck, which just makes everything a mix-up again. But the mix-up is not in her favor,
Yeah. Huh. That's goofy. So,
yep,
so you would prefer a safe down 4-2 that is a special mid as opposed to a slightly punishable down 4-2 but is mid?
Yeah. You mean like
because that seems to be what the situation is now for T6, because she has, in DR, it was mid and it was safe and it was stone. But now it's punishable, but it's still mid. So it sounds like you would rather have the special mid that's safe.
Not necessarily special mid. It'll still hit you if you duck, but it'll launch you. So, I would rather have a non-launching on crouch down 4-2 that's safe than.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'd rather have my safe launcher, even if it doesn't launch crouchers.
Yeah.
Okay, so what other things are unsafe that you hate, that you think that you as a Lili player you have to use but aren't safe?
Well, everything she has is unsafe, really. I mean, her 1+2, it's a 12 for mid. It's good, but it is -12. Her 4-4-4 stomp is, you kind of have to use that. It is strong low, but it is -13, so, at characters with a strong 13 frame punish, it's just a killer. Like, Kazuya will launch you. Dragunov will get a shoulder. Paul in Tekken Tag has a wall saying 3-2, that's just going to kill you.
Yeah, that's
Law,
silly.
Yeah, Law wall saying 1-2 into Dragon Tail. So it's like, do I really want to use this move?
Yeah, I guess. But that way. I always thought it was weird with the 1-2 string, because you have the 1-2-3, and then you have the 1-2-4, but it doesn't feel like either one of them sets up the other one. Like it looks like that's what they were trying to do, because one is a mid and then one's the safer high, but it's like not. I don't know. It's because the mid is really, really punishable.
The mid is actually not punishable. It's safe.
Maybe I have it backwards, because one of them I know is really punishable.
Yeah, the low is minus
The
16,
low.
so that's I don't know why it's minus 16. Law has the same 413. It's minus 12. A lot of characters have that kind of stuff that's pretty safe. Lili has a launch punish for one. I don't know.
Yeah, because right when you mentioned the the punishing thing, that was the first thing I thought of was the 1-2 string. I was like, that really doesn't make sense. Like a lot of people have, like kind of the safer, weaker version, and then, the big hitter, punishable one, but they kind of complement each other a little bit, but it's just weird.
Even though the low is launch punishable, I mean, actually in DR 1-2-3, which is the low, was actually NC.
Wow, the entire thing was natural combo.
Yeah, 1-2-3.
Wow.
I mean, it was like 25 damage in DR. I don't think it was, broken by any means. There's a lot of characters who have stuff like that, like Law 1-1-2, Lee 1-2-4. But after DR, they took it away, so it's now not NC.
Does a little bit more damage, but whatever.
Yeah, it's still launch punishable. Here's the thing, though. 1-2 on hit, you can either duck or stand. I mean, I don't see why you duck a whole lot, but 1-2-4, actually, you cannot sidestep that on hit.
Well, that's good, no. But you can sidestep it on block.
Right, you can sidestep it on block, but a lot of players, they'll think like, oh, Lili has shitty tracking, so let me just sidestep everything she has. But 1-2-4 you can't sidestep that either way.
Well, I know she gets some pretty hefty advantage off of the jabs. I want to say it's like +7, +8, something like that.
Yeah, it's +8.
Yeah.
In Tekken 6.
Because I think most characters get like, I want to say most characters are in like the 5 to 6 range. Because I know Laws is only +6. Off 1-2 or I guess 1-1-2, either one. Well, what are some other characters? He's like the only one I know offhand. See, I think Nina's. I know she's 5 or 6. Although for Nina, the 5 is way too much. But yeah, so I know most characters are like in that 5 to 6 range. So I guess that's something. She gets +8.
8 is good. But a lot of her moves are so slow that you can just sidestep, even though Lili's at +8. And the moves that are fast, let's say like you want to do like 1-2 and then down forward 1, you can still sidestep that, even though I'm at +8. So.
Wow, you really can sidestep. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about it actually a few times on the podcast, where sometimes even if you're negative, sometimes that can help you time your sidestep better. But we weren't thinking +8. We're thinking like +3 or 4. Maybe it sets up your opponent for a good sidestep, but that's ridiculous that you can sidestep from down 4-1 after +8.
Yeah, well, she doesn't have a whole lot, so that's why 1-2-4 is actually pretty handy. So you can't sidestep on hit.
Nice. Okay, well, let's. Okay, so we got to some of the safety stuff. Any other noteworthy moves that aren't really safe, or maybe are safe that you think maybe should that are like integral to her game?
I can't really think of much. Outside of the obvious hop kick and down forward 3+4, I can't think of too many moves that. Any special moves that you might just throw out there?
Well, you did mention her panic buttons. She doesn't have a magic 4, or as far as I know, I don't think she has any 12-frame counter hit launcher. But she does have a lot of crushing moves. But where would you rate her panic buttons? Is there anything out there that you're like, okay, keep this in your back pocket at all times just in case you need to throw it out there for a quick counter hit?
Yeah, pretty much Matterhorn. Down 3+4.
Yeah, that crushes highs, right?
It crushes highs and some mids.
Oh, wow. I didn't think it got that low.
Yep. Oh, actually, her quarter circle forward 1-2 her cortical forward one will also crush most highs and some mids as well.
The down forward 34, that's the launcher, right? Or am I thinking?
Yeah, the foot.
Yeah, the skyrocket, right?
Down 3+4 is the Matterhorn, the high launcher.
Okay. And is that the one you're talking about or not?
Yeah, that's yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so that just makes like confusing myself. Okay, okay, cool. So skyrocket, yeah, that thing is nasty. I remember like in DR, which is when I had the most Lili experience or whatever. That thing was, I mean, it already did a ton of damage, and I'm sure it still does do a shit ton. So.
Pretty much. If you get hit by that, even on a non-wall stage, you're looking at, half your life.
That's so rough.
So yeah, that's one of the juggles she gets her strongest launchers off of, or strongest combos. I'm sorry.
And then what is it? Up forward 34 that leads to that, right? She has a natural, or she has a string that ends with that.
She does, but up forward 3+4, 3+4. It's not. No, it's not NCC. It's the only use it has really is it is guaranteed on the back. So.
Well, hey, there you go. That's actually something I didn't know. I thought it was NCC.
Yeah, so
it shows you how much I know.
So she has a setup where she does her 2+4 grab, and if you side roll a certain way and then get up straight, she'll get your back, and then you could do down a forward 3+4, 3+4, and then the combo is super strong off that.
Can she float or anything off of the 2+4 grab, just regular, if they just try to stand straight up?
Yeah, well she can duck jab, and that'll float for a combo. She can do up forward 3+4 by itself, and that'll float for a combo. She can pretty much do anything off of if you stand straight up.
Well, the only reason I ask about that is because you mentioned like if they side roll a certain way, you can get that. I didn't know how viable that was. Like if you had stuff that would kind of provide an incentive for them to start doing that, but it sounds like she does. I mean, it sounds like she can still hurt you really bad if you sit there or try to get up other ways. So
yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. She pretty much has a guaranteed down 3 off of it. The only way to avoid that is to get up straight and duck, which, I mean, if you get up straight, again, she has many, many float options.
Yeah, because I know she, like, you mentioned the down 4, or down 1-2. I know she has a lot of stuff that, like, picks up really low. And is down 1-2, whenever I play Lili, I usually kind of use that pretty liberally. Is that very strong? Because I know it gives you plus on hit if the 2 hits. I think that's an NCC, isn't it? No?
Down 1 to low high?
Yeah.
That's NC, but, I mean, the tracking's pretty bad. It is low high. It's pretty slow. It's 18 frames. It's not a whole lot of damage. I think the first hit's only like 10 or 12 damage or something. It's not something...
Well, I guess...
Because if it...
Oh, go ahead.
If it was low mid, yeah, I'd have a use for it, but since it is low high, I really can't find much of a use for it just in normal play.
I guess one of the reasons that I like to use it is because it's a high crushing low, which I'm always a fan of. And then after the 2, you can go into back turn. And I guess, I don't know, I like fucking with the back turn a bunch. I'm not the best at back turn setups and whatnot, but it's still, if you have plus frames and you go into back turn, sometimes it's, it's fun to fuck with. Is it, is it worth a damn if you go into back turn? Or I guess I should ask it this way. Are there any moves or strings that you use just to get into back turn to do that stuff, or do you kind of ignore back turn unless you're doing Oki?
Me personally, I only use back turn on Oki. Most of the back turn options she has are you could just sidewalk and then you can launch her. So.
See, I'm always a fan of. I love back turn grabs because I'm not a big fan. I like the old school Tekken grabs where it was with the exception of 1+2 breaks, it was always a 50-50. Like you didn't know which one it was. They always did the same hand. And I don't like that they mixed it up so that you can actually see the hands. I don't like that at all. I guess I have kind of a 2D mindset when it comes to that. But so I always like any sort of setups or situations where I can get back turn, because then it actually reverts back to the old system where they always throw out the same hand. So I guess I'm always looking for that stuff. But it sounds like it's kind of crap with her.
She does have her back turn grabs. Again, I will only use it off Oki. Usually like after a wall combo or something, you know, where they pretty much have to guess, or they'll die if they duck, you know, for a wall splat. But pretty much almost every back turn situation she can get into, unless you just like run up and they just freeze. You know, you could sidewalk right and you can launch her.
Yeah, and I know. Usually I sidestep right just out of habit. So I guess I never realized that you should be going that way. I guess just kind of guessed and got lucky. I guess.
Yeah. She has a couple options that track that way, but I mean, it's, you know, again, they're not safe.
What's okay? So I know that down back 4 tracks to the right, but the forward 3 tracks to the right as well. I would presume, since it's a homing move. Down back 4 obviously is way punishable. Is forward 3? I thought it was safe, but
Her homing move?
yeah,
it's safe.
What other options? Because you said that her options that are for tracking that way are safe
For back turn.
Oh, from back turn. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking just straight up for some reason. So her regular homing moves. Let's see. From just like not from back turn, but just from regular stage. What sorts of things would you like other than down 3? Since that tracks really well, obviously. What other sorts of things would you suggest for trying to prevent sidesteppers?
Again, she has nothing really safe. It depends on which way I'm going to guess that they're going to go, because she doesn't have anything that tracks both ways other than her homing move. So if you walk to your right, Lily's left, then I might hop kick or down 3. You know, she has a couple options, but if you go right, my down forward 4, down 4, quarter circle forward 3+4. So
That's
it really depends.
The list, huh?
Yeah, not much. I'm always telling people, oh yeah, she's a crappy character. No one ever believes me.
Yeah, well, I never thought she was like the greatest character ever, because I always thought, I mean, even though my Lili knowledge in VR is pretty limited, it still feels pretty obvious that she has kind of a spacing issue, and the sidestep issue is still there, even if it's not the worst. You know, they haven't given her insane options to help with it. But I don't know. I definitely I've never really seen her in the crappy department. But I guess I mean that's a good kind of segue. Like, where do you put her at the very bottom, or is she mid-tier for you, or?
In Tekken 6, I think she's right at mid.
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
That's that's actually exactly where I put her too. So, well, hey, I guess I'm on the same page with you there, even though you know more about it than I do. But well, it sounds. I'm trying to think of like any other things that we should mention. She has pretty good wall carry. I think if I remember correctly, the forward 2-3. That's usually what most people use for the carry. And I think you can also use 3-2-3. You said, or 3-2.
Yeah, I prefer, like the recover on 3-2-3 is pretty crappy. If you use down 2-2-3, it's the same damage as 3-2-3, except she recovers faster, and the wall carry is about the same.
You know what? I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I love that fucking string. Whenever I play with her, which is not very often, but whenever I do, I just kind of abuse that, because down 2-2 is a natural combo, and you can hit him from it. So
yeah, it's pretty good.
I mean, you can step it. I mean, it's again, it's in the huge list of things that you can get around. But if you just kind of sit there and then just kind of fuck with it, it's really cow. But I think the second one's high, right?
The second one is high, but it jails. If you even if you do small delay, it'll still jail. But yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and I like you mentioned the wall for the wall carry. I like it because she has the two options. She has the down forward 224 and the down forward or down 223, which I'm a big fan of. So
the down 224 is not very good because it's only 1 point more damage and with or without scaling, and actually she recovers slower and it just hits them away. It doesn't like carry them up like down 223 will.
Let's see. That's good to know. I usually use the down 223 anyway, but I think the down 224 that shoots him farther though, doesn't it?
Yeah. And actually, you would think so, but it actually has. You would think it has more range, but it doesn't. Down 223 has more range on the last kick.
Wow.
I don't know why.
That one I didn't know. Yeah, I guess in the grand scheme of things, even if it hit farther away, it recovers slower, so I guess it balances out anyway. But
yeah.
Okay, well, man, I think we pretty much covered everything. Trying to think of any other like noteworthy stuff. Anything you can think of, like things that we didn't mention but that are pretty important to her game or playing against her?
Not really. She's awesome in tag too.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you said that because that was going to be my post Lili op for this podcast because I know that you because I was at Evo too. Unfortunately, we didn't meet, but I know that you were on the big screen when they did like the Tag 2 exhibition.
Right.
So I was going to ask you like what sorts of things, like, specifically with Lili, but even in general, like what sorts of things you're seeing with Tag. What do you like? What don't you like? How does the game feel to you? So I guess let's start with Lili because you said she was awesome in Tag 2. So what sorts of things can we look forward to? Hopefully, if they don't change a bunch of shit.
Like I mentioned earlier, they took away, her two main safe launchers, which was 443, which doesn't launch at all, and down 4-3 plus 4 is it's almost punishable. It basically is if you just try and hold back. So they took those away, but they gave her a bunch of NC strings. Also, like I said earlier, 423 is NC, and it does over 40 damage in Tag 2.
I just feel. I mean, that's going to be so sexy because a 13 frame Punisher like that. It's pretty.
Yeah, minus 10. So even if you miss it, you're really not gonna,
die.
You're not gonna lose a whole lot of life for getting punished for it. Back 1-4 is a new move she has. Or back 1 is the same move, but then she has an extension before. It's also NC. It also does the same damage as 4-2-3, which I tested. It wall splats. It's also minus 10. It's also mid. No reason not to use it.
Yeah, you gotta love it.
Yeah. It gave her 3-2 and 3-1 are actually also NC in Tekken Tag 2. 3-2 wasn't
Oh, go ahead.
What was that?
Well, I was gonna say 3-1 and 3-2.
3-2 wasn't even NC.
You'll have to remind me what string is that?
It's like a long range where she goes back to her and then either a mid.
Down. We were just talking about 3-2-3. Wow.
Yeah.
I must be tired. I don't know. Okay, so we got 3-2 and 3-1. Okay, I'm on the page again.
So 3-2 in Tekken 6 wasn't even NC, and I don't know why. It was like it's mid-high. It would just be a simple poke, right? But anyway, so 3-2 is now NC in Tag, which is cool. But they also gave her 3-1, which is really strong because it's a knockdown, it's a wall splat, and it's really long range. And like I was mentioning earlier, how she doesn't really have like a really quick long range punisher. 3-1 is the answer to that, because 3-1 is one of standing 3 is one of her longest range attacks. It'll punish a death fist, you know. So she can now punish, you know, death fist with 3-1.
So 3-1 is a natural combo.
Yeah, in tag 2,
oh, nice.
It is. So it's a very strong punisher. It's at least 40 damage. You know, it's mid.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, and it's 15 frames. So it's fast. So really fast, long range mid.
And you said it was only -10?
No.
Or was that 3-2?
No. Back 1-4 and forward 2-3 are -10. But 3-1 is actually -14, which is fine. Which I think is fine because, you know, as a whiff punisher, I think it's fine. If you're gonna whiff punish with long range with Lili, it's gonna be quarter circle forward 1-2, which is also -14. Might as well use 3-1. Same thing, easier, faster.
Yeah, but that sounds fair to me. I mean, that fits the schematic for Tekken, I think. Where if you get about 40 damage for the price of either a really fast God Fist or you know, somebody's pretty standard 14 frame.
Yeah. So I mean, like, you know, other characters. I'll take Delvajin for example, because he's one of my other mains. He has 4-4-2 as a, you know, long range, quick whiff punisher, which, like I said, she was lacking in Tekken 6, but now she has 3-1. So that's the answer to that.
Any other good juicy tidbits for Tag 2 that they added or gave her?
Yeah, she has a lot of transitions now. Back turn, she could go back turn off of the stomp. She could go back turn off of. She could actually, if you do quarter circle forward 1-2, you could actually cancel the 2, and she can go into back turn off that.
Wow. So it sounds like they're beefing up back turn. Or did any of the back turn moves get beefed up, or did she get anything new?
No. As far as I know, they're all the same.
Wow.
But she does have more transitions.
Seems silly.
I mentioned. Yeah. I mentioned earlier that I can't hit confirm quarter circle forward 1-2, but if you see them block it, it just and if you accidentally finish it, you could just hold back, and she could go into back turn and just not finish it.
So kind of like a variation of the hit confirm. You kind of leave yourself open, but you know, at least it's better than just finishing.
Yeah. So I mean, there is still that mind game of, oh, you know, she's gonna throw out the 2 and I'm gonna get counter hit.
How quick is that transition? Like, can you like sneak a grab in there?
Yeah, yeah, you can.
Okay, because like that seems pretty applicable to me. Like, just keep faking the quarter circle forward 1-2, and then you're in this really awesome grab situation because you're just right in the face. But like I said, I love my straight up mix-ups. So.
Yeah. I mean, you know, once in a while you'll have to finish the second hit just to keep them in check, you know.
Is it kind of like Paul's 4-4-2-1, so where you kind of can't see it, and you, like the last second he cancels it? You know, is it that, or is like the cancel pretty big? Because personally, I would probably never, if it's like the fall one, like I would probably never do the 2. I would always go into back turn and just start doing random back turn stuff. Because like with Paul's, like at least to me, it's impossible to tell that he's canceled it until he's already canceled it.
Yeah, you can kind of tell that she canceled it, but I mean, she can block pretty quick. You know, if you're trying to see quote unquote mix up between the second hit or her just going into back turn. I mean, you know, obviously it's not something you're gonna be constantly throwing out throughout the whole match, you know, 10 times a match. Yeah,
of course. Yeah, back turn stuff
good.
Usually isn't something you just keep doing.
Yeah, I mean it is good though.
Nice.
I think.
Well, let me ask you about just Tag 2 in general then, because I mean it looked like you got a ton of playtime with it. I unfortunately only got to a couple of matches, but you know the line was huge on the last day, so.
Yep.
And I was an idiot and should have played more on Saturday, but I didn't. I went and gambled away my money. Go figure.
Yep.
But so what are your impressions of Tag 2? Like, do you like the way the system's working as it is right now, or?
I started with Tag 1, so naturally, I like Tag 2 a lot. I've always liked the tag system, the tag combos. I'm a combo guy, so I like the variety in combos.
Do you feel like it has more variety? Because like it ever since DR, it felt like they've been slowly like taking away the unique features of grabs. Because like back in the tag days, I mean, everyone had their own combos that were about the same, but they were all different. They were using different setups and stuff, but they all like accomplished the same goal. Whereas now, like in T6, it feels like a lot of stuff is really cookie cutter, and that's kind of like with the whole tag assault thing. Like I was hoping like it would throw a wrench into that and start making stuff more fun, and I don't know, more mixing or mixer up, and rather than just cookie cutter stuff. But
that's probably why I use Lili, because she has so many different fillers that are strong with her combos that I guess you could say keeps me entertained. But yeah, Tag 2 definitely has a lot more variety, especially with the tag assaults. So you can, if you're using like Lee, Bruce, Nina, people with long wall carries, tag assault I don't think has much use. It'll give you a little bit more damage, but for wall carry people, you want the wall carry. But I do think it will help a lot of characters who don't have good wall carry, such as Fang, such as Kappas have a decent wall carry, but I think it'll help them out as well. Kuma, for example, obviously, characters like that.
Nice, very nice. So, you started with Tag 1, as did I, and when I was playing it, I only got a couple of matches in, but I really, really, really did not like the fact that there was not a tag cancel. Like, I kept trying to tag cancel, and I was like, oh, fuck, I can't do that anymore. And then, they tell you, or, it seems like, you can attack earlier in the tag animation than you could in Tag 1. But, I don't know, it still felt really awkward to me. Do you like the tag system? I mean, when you tag in and out, does it feel natural to you? Or?
Yeah, I like it because it kind of adds a mind game. It's like, well, do you want to tag out or not? So if you do, I'm going to be waiting here for you. You know what I mean? So if you're the person tagging out, then you have to make a decision. Well, should I keep attacking and, enough to where I'm plus or they're on the floor, or should I tag out, eat a launcher? And in the new build, you can, do the tag crash, which is a safe tag out at the cost of Netsu and Red Bar. So that's also...
Oh, shit, I did not hear about that. What? Okay, that's actually brand new information for me. What is that? Like, does it work everywhere, or just...
Basically, you'll get hit enough times where your partner's life bar will blink white, and if you get knocked down... Alright, say you're in the corner versus a Brian player or a Jack player, someone who is incredibly good wall oki. So you just got hit by a wall combo and you don't know what to do because you can either tech roll, Brian's going to taunt, Jack's going to do back 2, he's at +5, he's going to kill you. When you're on the ground only, you could press 2+5, and your partner will basically jump in from the sky and do a what's called a tag crash, which is basically a safe tag out. It's completely safe on block. I believe it does no damage at the cost of Netsu and Red Bar from your character, but again, it is a safe option, so you're not going to get launched. You're not going to die for doing a tag crash.
And that, that build was at Evo, right?
Yeah, they changed that They changed the version on Saturday, which I believe was the second day.
Because I remember, like, having that happen. I was like, what the fuck did I just do? And I was like, how do I do it again? Because it looked safe. Because, yeah, I remember I was at the wall, and then my other character dove in, like, behind them, actually. From, like, you know, wherever the wall was, and they, like, jumped over. It was weird. But it was safe in either case. I was like, okay, I really need to know how to do that again. But it sounds like that's what I did, but I didn't even fucking realize I did it. But
yeah, just when you're on the ground, it's 2+5. So
nice.
it's pretty good. There's no safe. There's no tag cancel, which some people, I guess, speculated was a glitch anyway.
Yeah, I think a lot of people for tag, when Tag 1 first came out, they found that out, that most people just figured it was a glitch. But.
Yep. So 2+5 is the guaranteed safe option. That's good.
Well, that's not too well. Yeah, I guess I can accept that, because I always thought, like, right when we started hearing stuff about Tag 2 and they had the location tests up in Korea and whatnot, and, you know, all this information was filtering in, and people were talking about, you know, no tag cancel and stuff. In my mind, the first thing I thought of was like, oh, crap, you know, no tag cancel, that's going to just destroy the game. But as long as there's some sort of safe way to tag, I'm happy. So, as long as I have something, I mean, even if it's red bar or whatever, that's fine. I'll accept it, because, man, I need a good way to tag. Especially with walls and shit, it just seems like you get killed too easy.
Yeah, especially before that build was out, the Comic-Con E3 build, you know, your characters were always a Netsu. You know, you combo your enemy, and your enemy comes in, your enemy's partner comes in, he has Netsu, he combos you, you know, you're almost dead, you come in, he has Netsu. So it's really a Netsu fest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's kind of like, I don't know, it sounds kind of like a Mortal Kombat-esque sort of thing, you know, where everyone has bar when they're getting the shit beat out of them. And, you know, some people kind of save it and wait to do something else, but, you know, the vast majority of people use it as a combo breaker. You know, so I'd be perfectly fine with that if Tag 2 was like that, where you get Netsu really easy, and, you know, you just use it for safe tag out.
Yeah, but see, yeah, that's the thing, though. So, I mean, since there's a tag crash, and you don't want your other character to get juggled on the way in, you know, there's always the tag crash option, so Netsu's not always going to be there, because it will cancel out the Netsu.
Yeah, which is cool, because, you know, a lot of people, at least in Tag 1, you know, sometimes, you know, you came in with your second character, and they had Netsu, and you couldn't do anything with it. You know, you didn't get any hits in, or, you know, whatever it was, or, you know, you just happened to be in that situation where they just backdash all of your shit, and you just pick everything. But in either case, you know, there were a lot of times where, you know, your Netsu would just run out, and it kind of wasted. So I like the idea of, yeah, at least being able to use it.
Yeah.
So
she's pretty strong.
Okay. So I was going to ask, so you said Devil Jin. Who were you thinking of for your second character in Tag?
It is Devil Jin.
It is going to be Devil Jin?
Yeah. I did use Brian for a long time in Tekken 6, but I don't think my Brian's very good. I think my I might not be better with Devil Jin per se, but I feel more comfortable using Devil Jin. You know?
Well, I know they like, it sounds like they changed a lot of how Brian's game works because of the taunt and stuff, like the taunt setups and stuff after his bound enders don't work anymore, I guess. So
yeah,
it sounds like you'd have to change the way you play him anyway. So.
Yeah, it's basically his taunt doesn't track, so you can't really use that, you know, as an Oki game so much anymore. Especially with tag crash at the wall, people are just going to be tag crashing, and there goes your you know, your taunt.
I really wish that they would put back in wall tech again, like they did in Tekken 4. I love that. Like, I didn't really like Tekken 4 as a game, but there were some system things that I actually did like. Like, I still am not a huge fan of walls, but at least in Tekken 4, like, they weren't, I mean, they were good, but they weren't like Tekken 5 good, you know. Like, walls were just insanely busted in Tekken 5. But,
well,
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, if you think about it, I guess wall tech would be okay if they didn't add a wall push for everybody, because in Tekken 6, Tekken Tag 2, a lot of people have really strong wall spot moves. If Lily had a wall push, wall push 2-4, you're dead.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree, and that was part of the problem in Tekken 4 too, because you just get wall pushed to death. Like, and there's not dick you could do about it. But yeah, I don't like wall pushes. I'm absolutely 100% on board with no wall pushes. And just like Steve, I think he still has a wall push, which is pretty silly. But it is what it is, I guess. So you gotta take the good with the bad. So I was going to ask you, because I was curious. Do you play any other games aside from Tekken, or is it just Tekken all the time?
No, it's just Tekken.
So no Caliber or anything like that.
Oh, yeah, I messed around with Soul Calibur a bit, and I'm actually pretty hyped about Soul Calibur 5, just because it's something different. As far as 2D goes, I'm not very good at 2D. I don't like how, you could just, especially in the Street Fighter 4 series, you could just kind of mash your way through easy inputs or, execution stuff.
Yeah, I'm telling you, pick up Mortal Kombat. I'm telling you, man, it is fun. It is.
2D's not for me, man.
Dude, it's fun. I'm telling you. And I am nothing but a 3D guy. I hate Street Fighter. I hate Marvel. I especially hate Marvel. But I love Mortal Kombat. It is so fun. But I bring it up because we had a pretty good. I'm in the middle of Iowa where there's fucking nothing, but we had a pretty good Soul Calibur 2 scene, and there's quite a few people actually around here that are pumped for the new Soul Calibur, and I was like 50-50 on it because the other ones have been crap, so the chances of this one being crap were pretty good. So I didn't really know how I felt about it, but at the same time, we don't really have a scene for anything, so it'd be better to play a crap game that everybody's playing rather than play nothing. So I was kind of, I'm kind of in that on that weird fence. But I actually heard from a very, very reliable source just yesterday that Soul Calibur 5, and this is like straight from in-depth, Soul Calibur 5 is a true sequel to Soul Calibur 2. And I loved Soul Calibur 2. I thought it was a really, really good game, and it was really balanced, and just the system that everything that it ran on was really good. So something to consider, since you said that you're kind of interested in Soul Calibur 5. It sounds like they're actually doing their due diligence with this one. So we'll see how that goes.
Yep.
Where's my spiel for the day? So usually what we do to round out the podcast, our last section it's called Sound Off, and basically I just kind of throw it out there of whatever like really makes you mad or pisses you off, or if you just have something that you just want to rant on for a minute. I open the door, and it's kind of a requirement. So I hope you brought your anger with you to this podcast. But I'm just gonna let you go. I'm gonna just kind of throw it out there and let you roll with it.
Well, I don't really have much anger except regarding Tag 2.
There you go.
And how it's not going to be, it's quote unquote not going to be released in the US for arcade. I've always played Tekken in the arcades. I've always preferred, going to the arcades. Everybody can go to the arcade at their own will. You'll meet up with your friends. It's not like, it's not like you're going to somebody's house where it's invite only kind of thing. It's everybody can go to the arcade. You play a variety of people, play a variety of styles at the arcade, and that's how I feel like. I feel like you can improve a lot because of that. You're not always playing the same people over and over, the same characters, and because Tag 2. I know there's not a lot of arcades in the U.S., but, specifically the major spots, NorCal, SoCal, New York, Texas, I know all those guys would get Tag 2 if it came out. So SoCal included. We might not get Tag 2 at the arcade.
Oh,
I say
it
might.
doesn't sound like there's a might. It sounds like a guarantee that we won't get it.
It's a might. There's a small chance still.
See, because I'm totally on board with that. I think it's like bullshit that they're trying to just ignore the U.S. arcade scene. I mean, I know it's dead for all intents and purposes, but that doesn't mean that you can't import a machine. You know, they're just like the way that it sounds now. You know, if you can't, there's no point in importing it because the network infrastructure isn't there. So even if somehow you were to like black market a Tag 2 machine, like it really wouldn't do you any good. And yeah, I'm on board with that. I think that's bullshit. And I'm a pad player, and I still think it's bullshit.
Yeah, we have an arcade here in SoCal. It's called Round One, and they do have DJ Technica, which is one of the rhythm games that are. It is connected to one of Japan's servers, so hopefully there's some chance of getting Tag 2 with that. You know, I really haven't heard much about it, but I have heard, you know, Michael Murray talking about it, so we'll see how that goes. I know Maximum Tune 4 is also another Namco game that does require Banda Pass. You know, the service is going to have the same server issues, so that's another, you know, Maximum Tune isn't a huge crowd, but it is just another crowd that, you know, would like Banda Pass to be in effect here in America, just for arcade.
Oh, well, I always like the idea of arcade machines being connected to the internet and having that ability to just patch them as soon as possible, or do whatever updates you need to do to it. But I'll tell you this much: I wish you the best of luck, because if we fucking get it in the U.S., I'm not getting it. It's not going to be anywhere fucking near me. I'm going to have to drive fucking 5+ hours just to get to a damn Tekken machine. It's going to be ridiculous.
I know. It does sound selfish of me to say, yeah, I wish we had it, I wish we're getting it, even though much of the U.S. isn't. But
well, it's one of those things where, I mean, we're such a console-heavy environment that, it makes sense that not everyone would get it. But at the same time, I actually wouldn't mind, like, taking a weekend trip to Chicago or something if they had one, and then, just playing it all weekend. Like, that wouldn't bug me, because at least, I'd be playing it, and I'd be getting some pretty decent exposure to it. And honestly, it wouldn't be much different than it is now. I don't have anybody to play now, so I have to travel just to play somebody for a weekend anyway. So, same situation, I guess. But it actually...
Oh, man.
Go ahead.
You should have played more Evo.
Dude, I should have. I actually I'll be completely honest, I got dominated at Evo. I played like absolute fucking garbage. But I don't really know what I was thinking, like, because I started playing Fang, and, I don't really have anybody around here to play, so I didn't really get a lot of game time or play time with Fang, so I just kind of got mopped up. And, no offense to the people who beat me, but I felt that I could have won those. And I did not, because I was just like, oh, it was terrible, terrible. I did better in Mortal Kombat than I did in Tekken. That just made me feel bad. But it is what it is, I guess. It kind of makes me yearn for, like, the Tekken 5 days, though, because we actually had a pretty good arcade scene going on. And but that was about the time that, like, everyone was still playing Caliber 2, so the arcade was actually getting some pretty good business. But I like Tekken 5, at least the cabinets, because they had those damn PS2 ports. I was a huge fan of those. But
yeah, I wish they still had those.
Yeah, I know. And I'm a pad player, so obviously I'm going to like those, but I thought it was good for stick players too, because you could bring your own custom stick, and you could use those.
Right.
You didn't have to use the shitty under maintenance fucking sticks that they have at arcades. So, oh man, the days of old. Oh,
yep.
We have to accept that we are in a new internet noobish environment, I guess. But that's okay. That was I like that rant. It's opened up some discussion for stuff that I think everybody who's a competitive gamer hates about the arcade scene now. But so, just out of curiosity, you're in LA, right? You're in that SoCal region, or are you like farther south?
I'm south of LA,
South.
but it's close enough.
Yeah, close enough. So you'd be more LA than San Diego. Or you?
I'm pretty in between. I'm a little bit closer to LA, like 15 minutes closer to LA than I am to San Diego. So that's mainly why I play in, LA region more.
Well, I guess you would want to play in LA anyway, because from what I hear, at least from Ogre, San Diego is fucking dead.
It is. Yeah, it is now. It is now.
Oh man! But I think at least a couple of the San Diego players, I think they moved to LA, right? Because I think Markman lives in LA, right? Or maybe he lives somewhere else.
No, Markman still
He's
lives
still San Diego?
San
Oh. For
Yeah.
some reason I was thinking he moved. Oh well. I don't live in SoCal, so I guess it makes sense I wouldn't know that. But oh well. Well, cool. Well, man, that was a ton of info. Glad I could kind of pick your brain for the Tag 2 stuff, because you definitely got a lot more exposure to it at EVO than I did. And yeah, the Lili information was awesome. I'm sure some people are gonna love that. I had a few people request Lili, so glad we could get to her sometime soon. That's all I have for the podcast. Do you have any last words or anything you want to get out there? Any I don't know, any self promotion or anything you want to do?
Not really.
That's fine.
Pretty much got everything out there. Just ranted about Tag 2 not being here. That's about it.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that they rush the console release, because I know, at least from what Michael Murray was saying, it sounds like they really want to get it into the American market as soon as possible. So,
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully it won't take, a year plus or whatever it was for T6. Just a ridiculous amount of time we had to wait for that. But we'll see what happens.
Yep.
I will actually do a little bit of self-promotion, since this is my podcast and I do whatever the fuck I want. We are having, I don't know, have you ever been to Iowa for any of our major tournaments?
Actually, I really haven't been outside California for many tournaments at all.
Dude, I have some news for you. Because for those who maybe haven't been around the community for a very long time, one of the original, at least Tekken majors, was Extravaganza, that has been held here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa for a while. And I kind of wanted to throw it out there because we're doing another one, but King Fan, who super OG, awesome dude, he's the one who started those. He's kind of hanging up the cleats, and he's turning it over to me. We changed the name of it. It's actually called Middle of Nowhere. But I kind of want to throw it out there for everybody because we're trying to make it big. And, Tekken is kind of dying right now. But we still want to have majors, and, I still want to see good Tekken tournaments and turnouts and whatnot. But especially for you, since you've apparently never been out of California, with the exception of EVO, for some big tournaments, you, along with everyone else, should definitely consider coming to Iowa because it is super cheap to stay here. Like hotel rooms for $30 a night, on the weekends. So it's dirt cheap. Food is dirt cheap. About the most expensive thing you're going to pay for is the flight, if you fly. Because I know a lot of people in the Midwest, they rent their van and then, they all pay $10 for gas to get here. So, but it's a lot of fun. We're one of those rare one-day event majors, but we run it like the mob, and we run it really quick, and it's really fun, and we drink a lot. So it's a good time. But okay, so that's my spot. I promise I won't take up any more time for anyone because it's on TZ. It's a sticky. We're going to have some STL there, Minnesota, Chicago, some Ohio guys. I know Slooch is going to make it out, so we should have some big names there. It should be a lot of fun. But it's next month. It's at the end of next month, man. So if you get some time, you can scrounge up a couple $100. I mean, we'd love to have you. I think GM came out to the last one, and it sounded like he was thinking about coming out to this one too. So never know. Never know who's going to show up. That's all I'm saying. But we're in the fucking backwoods, fucking Iowa, so we don't have much else to do. But that's all I got. Thanks a lot for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it. And I know a lot of people got to see you at EVO and see your skills up on the big screen. So sure a lot of people will be interested in this this podcast. And yeah, if you don't have anything else, any little things you want to throw out there, I guess we'll call it a day.
Yep,
Nothing?
that's about it.
Silence. Cool. All right. Well, thanks again for coming on the podcast. Thank you, everyone, listening, for tuning in for yet another one. And yeah, we will be back in a couple weeks with another episode. Thanks. Have a good one.